Hey everyone, and welcome back. All right, so we've got a pretty fascinating stack of guides and stories all about going freelance.
Yeah.
We're going to unpack all the practical stuff and the inspiring stuff
hmm
and hopefully give you a really clear path to making this whole freelance dream a reality.
Yeah, it's interesting. We've got perspectives from people who have been freelancing for a while.
Right.
We've got platforms like Upwork, and then we've even got financial advice from places like Fit for Funds.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty well-rounded view, wouldn't you say?
Totally. And that's what we want.
Yeah.
We want this to be like fully equipping you with the knowledge and the confidence to do this, whether you're brand new to it
Right.
or you've been freelancing for a while and you just want to level up your game.
Exactly. And one thing that I think jumps out from all of these sources
Yeah.
is the need to be really intentional about why you're doing this.
Okay.
Like Creative Lives in Progress puts it, why do you want to go freelance?
Right.
It's not just about escaping the 9 to 5.
Right. It's
Fine.
got to be more than I hate my boss or I want to work in my pajamas.
Right. Exactly.
You've got to figure out what truly motivates you.
Mm-hmm.
What are your goals are?
Yeah.
Does freelancing really fit your vision for your life?
And I think that's a crucial point because that why it shapes so much.
Okay.
It's not just about starting, it's about thriving as a freelancer.
Okay.
It's what shapes your niche,
Yeah.
your brand, even how you interact with clients.
Mhm.
Everything flows from that initial intention.
Okay. So let's say you've got your why figured out.
Right.
One thing that stood out to me was this trade-off they mentioned.
Yeah.
More admin work and outreach for freelancers
Yeah.
in exchange for freedom and flexibility.
Yeah.
How do you suggest people approach that potential challenge? Because it seems like it could be easy to get bogged down in the day-to-day stuff.
Well, that's where I think having a solid plan comes in. Even if it's just a simple list of goals and steps, you
Yeah.
know, that's something Creative Lives in Progress really hammers home. Let's say your goal is to land a dream client
Okay.
or to focus on a specific type of project that really excites you.
Mm-hmm.
Having that roadmap can make all the difference.
You know, when I first started freelancing, I didn't have much of a plan.
Oh, really?
I kind of just jumped in.
Yeah.
And while it worked out okay,
Yeah.
I definitely hit some roadblocks I could have avoided with a bit more foresight.
I think a lot of people learn that lesson the hard way.
Yeah.
But having that plan helps you stay focused,
Oh, yeah.
especially when things get tough.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be this rigid document. It can evolve as you do.
Mm-hmm.
The key is just having some direction.
Right.
And strategic about your freelance journey.
Yeah. What are some of the biggest benefits you've seen from having a plan in your own experience?
Well, for me, it's about prioritizing.
Okay.
Because when you're your own boss,
Yeah.
it's so easy to get pulled in a million different directions.
Right.
But a plan helps you say no to the things that don't align with your goals.
Yeah.
Which is so important, especially when you're starting out
Right.
and trying to build that momentum.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of starting out, a lot of the sources we're looking at today talk about the fear factor.
The fear factor.
Yeah. And fear seems to be a big reason why people hesitate to go freelance.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give to someone who's struggling with those anxieties?
Right.
Because I know it can be really scary.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's funny because I was terrified when I first quit my job to go freelance.
Okay.
And one thing that really helped me was reframing that fear as excitement.
Oh,
You know?
Okay.
Yeah, this is scary,
Yeah.
but it's also a sign that I'm doing something new and potentially amazing.
Right.
So it's like flipping that script a little bit.
I like that.
Yeah.
And don't forget, almost every successful freelancer has felt those same
Tired
fears.
of
Oh, I'm
scrolling through
sure.
endless
They just
workout
didn't let it hold
videos
them
and
back.
confusing
Exactly.
And
money-making
sometimes action
schemes?
means easing into it.
Fit4funds.com
Creative Lives in
is your
Progress talked
one-stop
about kicking out a
destination for
part-time job
reliable
Yeah.
fitness
just to kinda
equipment
help
guides
smooth the
and proven
transition,
side hustle
especially
strategies.
if you're worried about
From
finances.
foam rollers
Yeah.
to
I think that's
freelancing,
super
we break
practical
down
for a
what
lot.
actually
It can be a
works.
real life
No
saver,
fluff,
especially
just
in the
practical
beginning.
tools
Yeah.
to
Gives
build
you
your
that
body
financial
and bank
cushion.
account.
While you're building
Visit
your freelance business,
fitforfunds.com
you can take
today,
on those
where
initial
fitness
projects
meets
Yeah.
financial
without the
freedom.
pressure of having to make rent right away.
Right. You're not just taking any gig that comes along out of desperation.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about the why behind going freelance.
Right.
Having a plan, facing those initial fears.
Mm.
Let's get into some concrete tips
Okay.
that can really help people get started.
Yeah.
One that popped up a lot was the importance of being organized.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's more than just having a tidy desk.
Right.
Although I have to say that image of the freelancer's workspace was pretty inspiring.
I know, right?
But it's about systems,
Got it.
using tools like Toggle to track your hours or Trello to manage projects.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Those can be game changers.
Those are lifesavers.
Yeah.
Toggle, for example, helps you see where your time is going,
Yeah.
which is crucial when you're billing clients hourly.
Absolutely.
And Trello is great for keeping track of multiple projects,
Yeah.
deadlines, all that fun stuff.
It's about finding what works for you.
Yeah.
Maybe you're a spreadsheet wizard, or you love a good old-fashioned to-do list.
Right.
The point is just to have a system that helps you stay on top of things. Because when you're juggling clients and deadlines,
Yeah.
organization is key.
You know, it's funny because when I worked a traditional job, I was kind of a mess.
Oh, really?
But when I went freelance,
Yeah.
I realized I had to get my act together.
I think that's a common realization
Yeah.
for a lot of freelancers is that you're forced to be more disciplined, more intentional
Yeah.
about how you manage your time and your workload.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't underestimate the power of a dedicated workspace.
Oh, yeah.
Even if it's just a corner of your living room,
Yeah.
having that physical space,
Right.
it can make a huge difference in terms of productivity and mindset.
Absolutely. It's about signaling to your brain,
Yeah.
okay, it's work time now.
Right.
And for those who need a change of scenery
Right.
or thrive in a more social environment, co-working spaces can be a great option too.
Yes. Definitely co-working is awesome.
It's about finding what works for you.
Yeah.
And that's part of the beauty of freelancing, you know?
Yeah.
You have the freedom to create a work environment that
Yeah.
supports your best work.
Okay, we've talked about organization. What about networking?
Networking.
I know that can be a hurdle for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
Especially introverts.
Especially introverts, but it's crucial.
Yeah.
It's about building genuine connections and relationships.
Right.
You know what I found really helpful was Creative Lives in Progress's advice to create a list of potential clients
Okay.
and just reach out,
Go
even
on.
if they're not advertising for work.
I love that tip
Yeah.
because it takes the pressure off. You're not necessarily going in for the hard sell.
Right.
You're just starting a conversation,
Exactly.
expressing your interest.
Yeah.
And with platforms like LinkedIn and Instagram,
Yeah.
connecting with potential clients is easier than ever.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's about being proactive
Yeah.
and showing up authentically.
Mm-hmm.
And networking isn't just about landing clients, right?
I know.
It's about building a community,
It is.
learning from others,
Mm-hmm.
maybe even finding collaborators or mentors.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's about building a support system, which is so invaluable when you're navigating this world.
Right.
It's about realizing that you're not in this alone.
Okay, so we've covered organization. We've talked about networking now. Let's get to something that's non-negotiable
Yeah.
for any freelancer,
Okay.
the portfolio.
Yeah, yes.
The portfolio.
What advice did our sources have on creating a killer portfolio?
It's your showcase.
Yeah.
It's your proof of concept,
Right.
whether it's online
Yeah.
or a beautifully designed PDF.
Yeah.
A strong portfolio is essential,
Yeah.
especially for visual work. You
Yeah,
know,
right.
platforms like Behance or Dribbble
Yeah.
can be fantastic for that.
Those are great.
You want your work to speak for itself,
Yeah.
to showcase your skills and your experience
Yeah.
in the best possible light.
I'm a big believer in quality over quantity when it comes to portfolios.
Oh, absolutely.
It's better to have a few stellar pieces
Yes.
than a ton of mediocre ones.
Right. And tailoring your portfolio
Yeah.
to your target audience is key.
Okay.
What kind of work do you want to attract?
Right.
Showcase projects that align with that vision.
Okay. So you've got your portfolio, you're organized, you're networking.
Mm-hmm.
What about self-promotion?
Self-promotion.
Because I know that can be a struggle for a lot of creative people.
Oh, yeah.
It can feel uncomfortable.
Like you're bragging.
Like you're bragging.
So how do you get over that?
Well, I think the key is to reframe self-promotion as sharing your passion and expertise.
Okay.
It's about helping the right people find you and the solutions that you offer.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's not bragging. It's about connecting.
It's about connecting. And Creative Lives in Progress really nailed it with
Yeah.
this embrace self-promotion,
Yes.
you know?
Love that.
Have a personal marketing plan,
Right.
whether it's creating a website,
Mm-hmm.
sending newsletters, using social media strategically.
Yeah. And a lot of that comes down to having a clear understanding of your unique selling proposition.
Right? Your unique selling
So
proposition.
what makes you stand out from the
What
crowd?
makes you you?
Yeah. What unique value do you bring to the table?
Exactly. Once you know that,
Yes.
you can craft your messaging to
Mhm.
really resonate with your ideal clients.
Okay.
It's about showcasing your expertise and how it can benefit them.
All right. Before we move on from this section, There's one last thing Creative Lives in Progress emphasized that I want to touch on.
Right.
Contracts.
Oh.
Specifically understanding them.
Yeah.
Even the pesky small print.
Oh, yeah. Contracts are so important.
Yeah.
You know, it's about protecting yourself and your business.
Right.
Familiarize yourself with those common contract terms.
Yeah.
And if you're ever in doubt, consult a legal professional.
Yeah.
It's always better to be safe than sorry.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Contracts can feel intimidating at first.
Yeah.
But they're really there to protect everyone involved.
Yeah, they are.
Okay. I think we've laid a really solid foundation here.
I think so.
We've talked about the why of freelancing, planning, organization, networking, that killer portfolio, and even embracing self-promotion.
Yeah.
But now let's dive into the nitty-gritty.
Okay.
Finances. Ready to talk numbers?
Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it.
I think it's fascinating how many creative people kind of avoid the financial stuff. Right. When it's really the backbone of a successful freelance business.
It is.
And our sources had some great advice on this front.
Okay.
Starting with figuring out your bottom line.
Your bottom line. Both Fit4 Funds and Creative Lives in Progress talk about this.
Yes.
It's about knowing how much money you absolutely need to cover those essential expenses.
Yeah.
Rent, bills, groceries, all that.
Yep. Once you have that number, you can start setting realistic financial goals for your freelance work.
Okay.
It helps you determine how much work you need to take on.
Right.
What kind of rates you need to charge.
Yeah.
How to manage your income effectively.
It's like a freelancer's version of budgeting. Right.
It is.
Except you're focusing on income generation.
Exactly.
Rather than just tracking your spending.
Yeah. What stood out to me was how both sources stress not waiting until the end of the month to figure out if you're short on cash.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's about regularly checking in. Yeah. Almost like doing these mini financial audits to make sure you're on track.
That's a great point. Freelancing requires a more proactive approach to finances than a traditional 9-to-5 job.
You're responsible for ensuring that steady flow of income. Yeah.
Which means being mindful of upcoming projects, invoices due, potential outreach opportunities. Right. It's a different mindset, for sure.
Absolutely. It's about being financially savvy and in control.
Yes.
Okay, so you know your bottom line.
Okay.
Now the big question, how much do you charge?
How much do you charge?
I'll admit this part always intimidated me a bit, especially when I was starting out.
Yeah.
What advice did our sources have for setting rates and negotiating confidently?
Yeah.
Especially for freelancers who are new to the game.
That's a common sticking point.
Yeah.
Especially for people who are used to a salary.
Right.
You know, it can feel awkward to put a price tag on your skills.
Yeah, for sure.
But Fit4 Funds and Creative Lives in Progress offer some fantastic resources to help with this.
Great.
For instance, Key May's Up the Ante ebook really dives deep into these pricing strategies. And the AIGA has a rate calculator that can be super helpful.
I've heard of that. For figuring out those industry standards.
Those are great starting points.
Yeah.
It's all about doing your research, understanding the market rate for the services you offer.
Right.
And factoring in your level of experience and expertise. And remember, it's okay to adjust your rates.
Oh, absolutely.
As you gain more experience and build your reputation.
Yeah, you're constantly evolving as a freelancer.
Yeah.
And your rates should reflect that growth.
Right.
It's important not to undervalue yourself.
Yeah.
But you also want to be realistic, especially when you're starting out.
What about negotiation?
Negotiation.
That's another area where a lot of freelancers struggle.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have any tips for negotiating rates confidently?
Right.
Especially when you're new to the freelance world.
Well, the biggest tip I can give is to remember that negotiation is a conversation, not a confrontation.
Yeah.
You know, it's about finding a mutually beneficial agreement.
Okay.
So come prepared to articulate your value. Highlight your skills and experience. Explain how you can solve the client's specific problems.
Right.
But also be willing to listen to their perspective.
Okay.
Understand their budget constraints and expectations.
Right.
It's about finding that common ground.
That's a great point. It's not about being adversarial.
Right.
It's about building a relationship.
Yeah.
And coming to an agreement that works for both parties.
Yeah. And remember, negotiation is a skill.
Yeah.
That gets better with practice.
It does.
The more you do it, the more comfortable and confident you'll become.
Okay, so you've landed a project, you've negotiated your rate, you're ready to go.
Okay.
What about invoicing?
Invoicing.
How do you recommend setting up an efficient invoicing system? Because that can be a bit of a headache if you're not organized.
Creative Lives in Progress had some great advice on this.
Okay.
They suggest choosing a system that works for you.
Okay.
Whether it's using spreadsheets,
Yeah.
dedicated invoicing apps, or even good old-fashioned pen and paper, if that's your thing.
Yeah, if that's your thing.
Yeah.
Personally, I love using invoicing apps.
Oh, yeah.
They make the process so much smoother.
They do.
They track everything.
Yeah.
Send automated reminders, and they even integrate with your bank account for easier payment processing.
Yeah, it takes a lot of the hassle out of it.
It really does.
Yeah.
The key is to find a system that allows you to easily track those invoices sent, payments received, and any outstanding amounts.
Right.
You want to be on top of your cash flow.
Yes.
And a good invoicing system can really help with that.
It can.
And while we're on the topic of getting paid,
Okay.
let's talk about the not-so-fun part.
Oh.
Taxes.
Taxes.
I know a lot of creative people dread this part.
Yeah.
But it's the reality of freelancing.
It is.
What advice did our sources have for managing taxes effectively?
The most important advice is to prepare early and be organized.
Okay.
You know, don't wait until the last minute.
Right.
You scramble and try to figure things out.
Yeah.
Creative Lives in Progress provides a really helpful overview of registering as self-employed and understanding the basics of filing those tax returns.
Okay, they suggest starting your tax return early.
Yeah.
Maybe even setting aside time each month to organize your income and expense records. That way, when tax season rolls around, you're not completely overwhelmed.
You're not drowning in receipts.
Right, exactly.
And don't forget about deductions.
Oh, yes, deduction.
There are specific deductions available to freelancers that can significantly reduce your tax burden.
That's a great reminder.
Yeah.
It's worth consulting with a tax professional.
Absolutely.
Especially when you're starting out.
Yeah.
They can help you navigate the complexities of self-employment taxes and make sure you're taking advantage of all the deductions that you're entitled to.
It's an investment that can pay off big time in the long run.
Okay, so we've talked about finances.
Right.
We've tackled taxes. Now let's shift gears and talk about something that's a reality for a lot of freelancers.
Okay.
The freelance lull.
The freelance lull.
Those inevitable slow periods when work seems to dry up.
Right.
It can be pretty unnerving, especially when you're used to the consistency of a regular paycheck.
The freelance lull can be tough.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not prepared for it.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy to spiral into self-doubt and worry.
Right.
But Creative Lives in Progress reassures us that this is normal.
Okay.
It's a normal part of freelancing.
Okay.
What matters is how you use that downtime strategically.
I remember feeling so panicked the first time I experienced a lull.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I thought I'd done something wrong.
Right.
Or that my clients didn't like my work anymore.
Yeah.
But then I realized it was just part of the ebb and flow of freelancing.
Yeah.
And it actually presented an opportunity to focus on other aspects of my business.
I love that.
Yeah.
Turning a potential negative into a positive.
Right. And speaking of positivity,
Yeah.
let's talk about something that often gets overlooked
Okay.
in conversations about freelancing, mental health.
Mental health.
Because freelancing can be amazing,
It can.
but it can also be incredibly demanding.
Yeah.
It can be a struggle to maintain boundaries, manage stress,
Right.
combat loneliness.
Mental health is so important, but it's often neglected.
Yeah.
Especially in the hustle and grind culture of freelancing.
Right.
You know, but it's essential for sustainable success. You can't pour from an empty cup. Right?
I can't.
Yeah.
Creative Legs in Progress offered some great advice on this front.
Oh, yeah.
Enjoy your downtime. Don't be afraid to ask for help and know your support system.
I love that.
Yeah, that's such valuable advice.
Remember that self-care isn't selfish.
Yeah.
It's essential for your well-being and for the success of your business.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
I think so.
From the practicalities of managing finances and taxes to the importance of self-care and navigating the freelance lull.
The freelance lull.
Now, I want to shift gears and talk about something that I find incredibly exciting.
Okay.
The sheer diversity of skills and opportunities available in the freelance world.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It's mind-boggling when you think about it.
It is.
We saw examples of everything from writing and graphic design to web development, virtual assistance consulting, and even e-commerce ventures like drop shipping and print on demand.
Oh, wow.
It's truly inspiring to see the wide range of skills that are in demand.
It is.
In the freelance market.
Yeah.
So for someone who's listening to this and thinking about taking the leap,
right,
how would you suggest they assess their own marketable abilities?
Okay.
Where do they even start?
I think it begins with a self-inventory.
Okay.
What are you truly good at?
Mm-hmm.
What do you enjoy doing?
Yeah.
What problems can you solve for others?
Right.
And once you have a clear picture of your strengths and passions,
Okay.
you can start exploring freelance opportunities.
That align with those skills.
I love that approach.
Yeah.
It's about identifying your sweet spot.
Your sweet spot.
Yeah, where your skills and passions intersect.
I like that.
And it's worth mentioning that some skills are in higher demand than others, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Upwork, for example, mentioned that software developers, writers, and digital marketers are especially sought after in 2024.
That's right.
So those are some hot skills to have
Yeah.
if you're thinking about going freelance.
Absolutely. But remember, the freelance landscape is constantly evolving.
Right.
So it's important to be adaptable.
Yeah.
And willing to learn new skills as the market changes.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
It's not just about what's hot right now,
Right.
but also about being able to adapt and evolve as a freelancer.
Exactly. Continuous learning is essential for staying relevant and competitive in this world.
Speaking of staying competitive, let's talk about Upwork specifically.
I was really fascinated by their insights on using freelance platforms effectively.
Yeah.
They shared a real-world example of a freelancer named Chen, who built his entire business through Upwork and referrals.
Wow.
It's proof that you can actually find success on these platforms.
Yeah, Upwork provides a centralized platform where clients are actively posting projects.
Right.
And that can be a huge advantage for freelancers.
Yeah.
It streamlines the process of finding work and managing those client relationships.
Yeah, I've heard from other freelancers that it's a great way to build your portfolio.
Yeah.
Gain experience.
Yeah.
And start getting those testimonials and reviews that are so important for attracting new clients.
Absolutely. And once you have that solid track record on a platform like Upwork, you can leverage that success to attract clients outside the platform as well.
Okay, so we've talked about Upwork.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great segue into our next topic.
Okay.
Branding. Because several of our sources emphasize the importance of establishing a strong personal brand.
Yes.
Especially as a freelancer.
Especially as a freelancer, branding is crucial in a crowded marketplace.
Yeah.
It's about differentiating yourself from the competition.
Yeah.
Creating a unique identity that resonates with your ideal clients. It's about having a clear message, a consistent visual style, and an authentic voice that reflects your values and your expertise.
It's about being memorable, standing out in a sea of freelancers.
Yes, and I think it's also about building trust and credibility.
Absolutely.
You know, your brand is a promise to your clients.
It is?
It's about establishing who you are, what you stand for, and what clients can expect when they work with you.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground on branding.
We have.
And I think it's a great lead into our final topic.
Okay.
The financial aspects of freelancing.
The financial aspects.
We touched on this earlier, but I think it's worth delving a bit deeper.
Definitely. We talked about the basics, setting rates, managing invoices, being mindful of taxes.
Right.
But let's expand on that a little bit by discussing the importance of tracking expenses.
Okay.
Having a solid financial plan in place.
Yeah.
And thinking about long-term financial security as a freelancer.
You know, when I first started freelancing, I was so focused on landing clients and doing the work that I kind of neglected the financial side of things.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I wasn't tracking my expenses diligently.
Okay.
And I didn't really have a plan for managing my income. It wasn't until I hit a rough patch that I realized how crucial it is to be financially savvy as a freelancer.
It's a common mistake, especially when you're starting out and excited about the freedom and the flexibility of freelancing.
Right.
But being financially responsible is essential.
It is.
For peace of mind and for long-term success.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's break it down. What are some key things that freelancers should keep in mind when it comes to managing their finances?
Well, the first is meticulous record keeping.
Okay.
Remember those organized tax files we saw in that image?
Right.
They're not just for show.
Yeah.
Keeping track of your income and expenses is essential.
Yeah.
Not just for tax purposes, but also for understanding the profitability of your freelance business.
Right. It's about knowing where your money's going.
Exactly.
And making informed decisions about your rates, your projects, and your overall financial strategy.
Exactly. A solid financial plan can help you manage your money effectively.
Okay.
set financial goals, make informed business decisions, and ultimately create a more secure and sustainable freelance career.
It's about taking control of your finances and building a solid foundation.
Yes.
For your freelance business, it's about treating your freelance work like a real business, which it is.
Exactly. It's about thinking long-term, planning for the future, and making sure you're not just surviving, but thriving financially.
Okay, so we've covered a ton of ground today, from the initial why behind freelancing to the nuts and bolts of financial management.
Yeah.
It's been an amazing journey through all these different perspectives.
I know we've only just scratched the surface, but hopefully this deep dive has given you some valuable insights and actionable tips for navigating this world.
I think one of the biggest takeaways for me is that freelancing is a journey.
It is a journey.
There will be challenges, there will be lulls,
Yeah.
but there will also be these incredible moments of freedom, flexibility, and the satisfaction of building something on your own terms.
Absolutely. And remember, you're not alone on this journey.
That's so important.
One thing that really struck me as we were going through these sources was the sense of community.
Oh, yeah.
That exists among freelancers. You know, we saw examples of online forums, support groups, co-working spaces, industry events.
Yeah, it's like a whole ecosystem of support and collaboration.
It is.
Which I think is so important because it's easy to feel isolated when you're working from home.
Yeah.
But knowing that there's this whole community of people who get it can make a huge difference.
Absolutely. And that community can be a source of not just support, but also inspiration and collaboration. You know, sometimes the best way to learn and grow is by connecting with others who are on a similar path.
And true. Okay, as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of freelancing, I want to leave you with a final thought-provoking question.
Okay.
What unique skills or experiences can you bring to the freelance world? And what steps can you take today to make those freelance dreams a reality?
Because the beauty of freelancing is that there's no one-size-fits-all path.
Right.
It's about finding what works best for you, your skills, your goals.
Yeah.
And remember, every journey starts with a single step. What will your first step be?
Especially when you're first starting out, you're so excited about everything. You forget about the money part.
It's easy to get caught up in the creative side of things.
It is.
But ultimately, you know, being financially sound is what allows you to keep doing what you love.
So true. All right, so we've talked about finances and all the kind of like nitty-gritty stuff that goes along with freelancing. But let's zoom out for a second and talk about the bigger picture.
Yeah.
What are some of the most rewarding aspects of this freelance life?
Oh, wow. There are so many.
I know.
Where do I even begin?
I know. It's like drinking from a fire hose.
You know, I think for me, the most rewarding thing is the freedom and flexibility it offers, you know, to be able to set my own schedule to work from wherever I want.
Right.
To choose projects that I'm truly passionate about.
Yes.
That's priceless.
I totally agree. And you know what else I love?
What's that?
It's the constant learning and growth.
Oh, yeah.
You're always challenged to learn new skills, to step outside your comfort zone.
Yeah, you're constantly evolving.
Yeah, and that's exciting.
It is. It keeps things fresh.
And let's not forget the satisfaction of building something from scratch.
Oh, yes.
You know, being your own boss, creating a business that reflects your values.
It's incredibly empowering.
It is. And you know, it's funny because even though freelancing can be challenging at times, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Me neither.
It's been an incredible journey so far.
It has.
And I can't wait to see what the future holds.
Well, on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the world of freelancing.
It's gone by so fast.
I know, right?
But hopefully we've given you a taste of what it's really like to be a freelancer.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yes, all of it.
So if you're considering taking the leap, our advice is to do your research, make plan. And don't be afraid to ask for help along the way.
And remember, the freelance community is out there.
It is.
Ready to support you every step of the way.
So go out there and make those freelance dreams a reality.
Yes. Go for it.